Hi there, good evening, and thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Our major stories tonight: several traders at the Bonamusari market in the Douala 5 subdivision continue counting their losses after devastating fire ravaged nearly 50 shops early this morning, destroying goods and causing significant financial losses. Our reporters were at the market and they'll be showing us its new state. And away from that, we'll tell you how, as Cameroon's October 12 presidential election approaches, opposition candidates including Belobuba Maigari, Joshua O.C., Espoir Matomba and Cabrali B face mounting obstacles, with authorities preventing them from holding campaign events at chosen venues and also restricting their movement. Civil society actors qualify this action as undemocratic. Meantime, these candidates say they remain determined to reach voters and push for democratic change. Those are major stories tonight. The news in full in a jiffy. Once more, thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. A devastating fire broke out early this morning at the Bonamusari market in the Douala 5 subdivision, ravaging nearly 50 shops, destroying goods and causing significant financial losses. The incident has left vendors struggling to recover, with many calling on local authorities to take concrete measures so as to prevent such incidents in the future. Seri Chakutio reports on the aftermath of that fire incident.
Clothes, shoes, kitchen utensils are some of the remaining goods that traders could collect after fire erupted at the Bonamusari market in the Douala 5 subdivision, leaving vendors stranded and in pains. According to report, the fire started in the early hours on the 1st of October 2025.
À 4h30, mon voisin ici m'a appelé, dit que maman, nous sommes finis.
At 4:30 a.m., my neighbor called me. That's when I got up and threw a cloth on myself.
Je suis sorti, j'ai demandé à mon mari de m'accompagner. Quand il traînait un peu, il est venu, j'avais déjà démarré la voiture. Il est entré, nous sommes venus ici. Je suis monté. Quelqu'un dit que maman, courage, courage.
I asked my husband to come with me. When I got here, I saw the damage. I'm very confused.
Je suis venu, on a dit que ouvrez, parce qu'il y a le feu dedans. Si on n'ouvre pas, ça va péter.
The flames ravaged nearly 50 shops despite the efforts of the firefighters. Some traders say they had bought some goods the day before this tragedy.
Je n'ai rien pu récupérer, rien.
I am disoriented. I haven't been able to save anything. I don't know how I'm going to do. My head is in the clouds with all the purchases I've made to get back on the ground.
Que faire pour pouvoir mettre les pieds sur terre? Je sais pas.
My wife had just taken a loan to pay for these clothes. I can't calculate the losses. It's really enormous.
C'est énorme. C'est énorme. C'est énorme.
This is not the first time such a disaster occurs in the market. This isn't the first time this kind of incident occurs. There have always been fire incidents in the market, but this time my shop was touched, so I'm very devastated. Traders in the market are urgently calling local authorities to implement concrete measures to prevent this type of tragedy from happening again in the future days.
And now to something else. We talk about the devastating consequences of the over 8-year-old armed conflict. The Anglophone regions of Cameroon have been plagued by violence and human rights abuses, prompting human rights defenders to call for investigations into alleged atrocities committed by both government forces and armed separatist groups. Civilians are often caught in the crossfire, facing brutal killings, abductions and destruction of property. In the northwest region in particular, local villagers in Jakiri recently took to the streets in protest after one of their own was killed on September 29. The protest turned violent, with reports of jungle justice being meted out. Fomi Armstrong Sanda has more.
The anger and popular protest followed the brutal killing of Mr. Emmanuel Salai in his native Mantum village, Jakiri subdivision of the Bui division in the northwest region of Cameroon, by an armed separatist fighter. A killing that sent shockwaves across Mantum, Kifon and Tan villages, where he was well known and respected. In an unexpected manner, the local villagers came out in protest against the killing and similar atrocities committed in their community. A popular outrage that resulted in jungle justice administered on the killer of Mr. Emmanuel Salai.
You know, it's a signal that the Ambazonians should know also that the citizens, the civilians are tired.
Civil society leader Tamfomi Fanka Samuel of the Ideal Solution for Community Communication ISCC says the incident in Jakiri has a double implication.
The coming out of the population is so good, but the government should also understand that they should not allow the population at local heads with the Amber fighters, because at the moment given, it becomes the people who learn to do the things themselves and ignore the governance, and the place becomes ungovernable.
Frantic on the importance of community-oriented solutions to the crisis, he says the state and non-state actors should seize this opportunity to step in.
We propose that if there is ceasefire and there is grassroots approach and civic education, because it is long that the government, the people have not been feeling impact of what the government is doing, neither the opposite party, which is ungovernable.
Mr. Emmanuel Salai, a local business operator, is said to be the junior brother of Cameroon's one-time Minister of Transport. While the reasons for his killing remains a mystery, some observers hold that he was targeted as a response to legal actions engaged against separatist leaders by his nephew, Barrister Salah Emmanuel, in the United States of America.
And now in health, approximately 4,170 new cases and 2,108 deaths from breast cancer are reported in Cameroon in 2020, highlighting it as one of the most common cancers affecting women with a rising prevalence rate. To curb the mortality rate, the world, including Cameroon, observes Breast Cancer Awareness Month from October 1st to the 31st each year. At Peace and Comfort Medical Hospital in Bonaberi, Douala, campaigns have begun to raise awareness. Medical professionals are emphasizing the importance of early detection. More with our health reporter, Ase Luciliengo.
Breast cancer is one of the most common cancers affecting women in Cameroon, with a rising prevalence. It occurs when cancerous cells in the breast multiply and form tumors. Symptoms of breast cancer can include a lump or mass in the breast, changes in breast shape or size, skin changes, and nipple discharge.
We could have a palpation of a lump or a nodule in our breasts. It could be a palpation of a mass at the level of our axillaries. The nipple, you can have a discharge at the level of the nipple, which is other than breast milk.
While breast cancer typically affects women aged 50 and older, it can also occur in younger women. Medical professionals see various factors can contribute to the risks of developing breast cancer, including genetic, hormonal, lifestyle, and environmental factors.
For ladies who see their menses before the age of 12, that is a contributing factor. We have ladies who get into late menopause above 55 years, it's a risk factor. Ladies who have never put to bed before.
Each year, from October 1st to 31st, is observed as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, also known as Pink Month. At Peace and Comfort Medical Hospital in Bonaberi, Douala 4, many are seizing the opportunity to know their cancer status.
If I come here, I'll get to know early if there's any sign and symptoms. The doctor will get to diagnose breast cancer early.
We started a program on the 22nd of September, which shall run through to the 10th of October, all geared at screening women for cervical cancer and breast cancer.
Medical professionals stress on the importance of early detection through self-breast exams to help curb the mortality rate.
Get screened for breast cancer, for cervical cancer, especially if you are above 40. You go to the hospital, you get a doctor examine you.
If diagnosed early, breast cancer can be treated effectively. The theme of Breast Cancer Awareness Month 2025 is "Every story is unique, every journey matters."
Asia Luciliengu reporting there. Now we talk politics, looking at the race to A2D. Bello Buba Maigari's convoy was blocked at the entrance to Ebolowa in the south region of Cameroon. Security forces on Tuesday prevented Bello Buba Maigari's convoy from proceeding to Ebolowa. The candidate of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, NUDP party, was scheduled to carry out a campaign in President Paul Biya's hometown. Babla Jonathan has more.
Law enforcement officers barring the way to Bello Buba Maigari and his allies Akere Muna and Ateki Setakasten. They are not allowed to hold a campaign meeting in Ebolowa in the south region of Cameroon. Access to the initial meeting venue in Ebolowa is forbidden. Militants, supporters, sympathizers of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, NUDP, Bello Buba and his allies are compelled to hold the meeting here in Monelam village along the Bolowa-Akomde Kribi road.
Nous sommes décidés à mener ce combat pour la démocratie.
Bello Buba says he and his allies are determined to fight for democracy and freedom in Cameroon. He presents his allies. First, Akere Muna.
Le bâtonnier maître Akere Muna. Saluons-le.
And then Ateki Setakasten.
Caxton Seta Ateki.
He calls on the people to vote for change, to vote for better living conditions.
On the same vein, political analyst Dr. Barrister Kamwa Limen has urged Issa Chiruma Bakari to join Bello Buba Maigari, Akere Muna and Seta Caxton, and it will be, according to him, it will be a game changer. According to him, it will enhance the opposition's victory and change probability in the October 12 presidential election. Take a listen to him in this excerpt.
I'll actually congratulate Senior Barrister Bâtonnier Akere Muna for such a smart move. I respect him a lot for that move. And I respect equally the other candidate who has gone to Buba Bello. And let me tell you, I want to address this to Mr. Issa Chiruma. Please, for the sake of this nation, get into a coalition with Buba Bello. Forget about your ego. Forget about anything. Think about Cameroonians first. Mr. Issa Chiruma, go and create this great alliance. Take the whole of North. When you take the whole of North, I am sure that those from the Northwest, the Southwest will come into that coalition. And I'm praying equally that Madam Damjoya should equally come into that coalition. It is very, very important. To Mr. Issa Chiruma, I am pleading to you personally. As an Anglophone, that is going to be a very, very big step in the process of us forgiving you for some of the utterances you made during the Anglophone, when you said that there was no Anglophone crisis. This is going to even work in your image when you refuse that you are not going to stand for presidential election. There's a lot of contradictions you did, which I want you, I'm talking to you directly, Mr. Issa Chiruma, that I want you to take this opportunity to bar your face, to come in harmony with Cameroonians.
Dr. Barrister Kamwa Limen speaking there. In the same vein, civil society actors in Cameroon are denouncing government restrictions on opposition parties' campaign events, labeling it undemocratic. With the October 12 presidential election looming, several opposition candidates are facing significant hurdles. In most cases, authorities prevented some of them from holding rallies at chosen venues. Innocent Aze reports.
Civil society members consider the restriction of candidates Bello Buba Maigari into Ebolowa, considered the head of state's hometown, to campaign as a slap to democratic principles.
If Cameroon is a democratic country, it therefore means you as a citizen, you have that right to express yourself or give your own contribution that can better up the Cameroon that want it to be and aid the rather that we or desire it to be. So, and I think that other presidential candidates had visited this chieftain of Bolova South region. Why is it that that of Bello Buba Maigari was refused? It therefore means there must be something somewhere.
Even political actors are indifferent. They term the act unjust and violence instigating.
In advanced democracy, it's not fair, it's not justice. Because in good governance, during elections, everybody has the right as a candidate to campaign anywhere you want to campaign, because it is enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic, and it is a state. The government is supposed to also provide security. If the CPDM is to win, they should win fair and transparent election.
I think that Cameroonians are watchful and seeing that those areas, the hometown of the president, they said such a precedent and is followed is going to cause chaos before elections. It is bad. It is bad. So it is something that we should condemn.
The call for justice, with all the presidential candidates allowed to campaign wherever they wish across Cameroon, just like the CPDM does.
Because now you don't have any ownership of a place. There should be justice, and every political leader should be able to enter any community, any region, any division, any subdivision to campaign. We need political participation.
If the president and the administration is silent on that, it might set a bad precedent, because if Paul Biya decides to go to North and the Northerners say, okay, our candidate that was going to your own place you blocked, we're going to block him, and same in other regions, what will be the reaction? You will see that there will be chaos.
As everyone wishes to witness a highly contested presidential election void of irregularities, these civil society and political actors demand the Minister of Territorial Administration to take a fair decision, ordering his subordinates to allow the opposition presidential candidates campaign everywhere freely to woo maximum electorates.
And still on our race to A2D, militants of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement CPDM party have pledged their unflinching support to the incumbent President Paul Biya during the campaign launch in Tombel, Douala Zone 4, Mogode and Mokolo, all in the Fana region. The key message from the head of campaign commissions in the different areas for their supporters to vote massively for Paul Biya come October 12, 2025. Smajic and Gabriel has more.
The launching of the communal campaign for Tombel subdivision for the first time after a long period brought together some big elites of Kupe Maninguba, amongst them Assistant Secretary General at the Presidency Elung Polche and Professor Elvis Ngole gathered in Tombel. The militants of the ruling political party say all registered voters in the subdivision will vote for the incumbent back into office come October 12, 2025.
Every election is different, because the times are also different. And the message to our comrades at the local level is that we have to go in again this time and aim for 100%.
This time around, we want to do it better than we've ever done before, because we are grateful. We are grateful to President Biya. We admire President Biya. We are mindful that he created Kupa Maninguba division. And we are a people of faith.
It was with the same spirit that militants of Zone 4 of the ruling political party CPDM met in Bonaberi after the regional launch on Saturday. They say they want more development from the President of the Republic, who had never failed them.
The message is one of love, one of fraternity, one of unity, and one of commitment to the election campaigns, which through the section of Vuri 4 and through the president of the sector 14 of Bepele, Towo, Petit Bonanjo, that we all come together, push them up, give them the support so that the victory is won.
I think we will win that rail.
The sum of 10 million francs CFA was raised during the launch of campaign in Mogode, Far North region of Cameroon. The money is to enable the different teams going down to villages to have a smooth exercise. I can assure you that after our launch in Mogode, our champion will record a crushing victory over the opponents. We can't tell you the strategy for now, but it's going to be wonderful. In Mayochanaga division, the Minister of Public Health, Manauda Malashi, launched campaign for the zone in his capacity as the president of the campaign commission. The launch that saw a massive turnout of population was an opportunity for the head to reiterate, each and every one of us need to have a better future in our division. The vision is for a united and ambitious Cameroon. Our candidate is Paul Biya. The militants of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM party from all ends, are convinced of a victory for their president.
Smart Jikan Gabriel ending this first part of the news. Talking Point comes up next. My guest tonight is Dr. Ako John Ako, a civil society actor based right here in the city of Douala. Good evening. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight, Doctor. Opposition parties in Cameroon are facing several restrictions that hinder their ability to campaign effectively. The Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation's candidate Cabral Libi was denied access to public venues including Camtel and Sikam stadiums for their campaign rallies. Also, we had security forces who blocked the SDF chairman Joshua Osi from campaigning in Kongsamba and dispersed party militants. The most recent case is that of Bello Buba Maigari, who was blocked from campaigning in Ebolowa, a locality in the south region. He was pushed about 2 kilometers further to carry out campaign. Tell us, what's your view about all these happenings?
Good evening and welcome to Equinoxe Television. Again, it is a bit sensitive, a time of political campaigns in Cameroon. October 2025 is announcing very strong, and many Cameroonians are again very worried at the various incidents happening around the political campaign. Many political leaders have been pressed on and others molested for chanting songs or pasting posters of their candidates. The first incident we can imagine was that of Bello Buba Maigari, that was prohibited in the town of Limbe from organizing his political campaign. And again, few days ago in Douala, the leader of the President Party, Cabral Libi, was prohibited from organizing his rally at Cité Sikam. They were only forced to do so in the open air of Omispor Stadium. It becomes again worrying that the same Bello Buba Maigari was attacked in Ebolowa, the south region, the birthplace of the ruling president, Paul Biya. As this is not enough, just within 48 hours, about 12 others have been arrested in Mundemba for pasting posters of their leader, Joshua Osi. What can one make of a system that put laws and unable to respect them? The 1990 Liberty Laws on freedom of association and political parties were clear, and that joining and exercising the right of such activities was a civic responsibility, and that everybody is supposed to act and act within the ambits of the law. This is campaign time, and every political party needs to be given a level ground to perform or pass its messages in the presence of many, many Cameroonians. We see continuously the use of force by the state ruling party, the CPDM, which simply come to confirm the adage that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Our police officers and the military not there to protect the state. Are they not members of government, or they have become members of the ruling party? It is.
Now, Doctor, what are the potential consequences of these restrictions if they continue unchecked?
The consequences, Immaculate, are very enormous, and to many Cameroonians, it is a time equally to create fear in the mind of potential voters, in the mind of those who think that change is coming and that change can come through the people. It is government for the people, by the people, and for the people. And at the time when we think the citizens are about exercising their civic duty, and mobilization might have several consequences. One of it is the deterrence factor, which many have said, like listening from Press Chief Ebako of the Southwest Chief Conference, that President Paul Biya has a life mandate and that until he dies, nobody can replace him. And this is not just the methods and the measures used by the ruling party to cling or maintain himself in power at the detriment of the well-being of many Cameroonians. And so the deterrent effect might cause disaster for those who wish to vote for the opposition parties. One of those glaring examples is one you have just seen in Mondemba. Muzzling, torturing, detention of the followers of the SDF party and its leader, Joshua C. Terribly bad. And the message equally said Cameroon is at the peak of the violation of human rights, a basic right, which is that of political rights, enshrined in international conventions and to which Cameroon is a party. There is a need for Cameroon to respect its own laws and international agreements that he has made. On this note, the international community might equally come to answer the plight of many Cameroonians.
As you rightly said, the Social Democratic Front SDF party today released a communique announcing that about 12 of its militants have been arrested in Mudemba. It is a locality in the southwest region. They were arrested over the fact that they were pasting posters of that party. And now, what steps can the government take to address these concerns and ensure a level playing field for all of these parties?
The government of Cameroon has many steps it can to quell the forces, to ease or to lubricate the tension that is presently reigning within followers of various parties. It could equally, at one point, that the forces of law and order are there to maintain order and not to prohibit others from acting within the ambit of their various political parties. A decision from the various members of government, a decision from the state judiciary, a decision from the Minister of Territorial Administration calling for calmness and order, and that forces of law and order should respect the opinion of other Cameroonians will do. Equally, ordering for investigation by the Minister of Justice that other parties have a right to participate in the election, and that the list of the crimes committed during this campaign, those perpetrating it will be judged accordingly. Many others have used stones, bullets, I don't know, rubber catapults in fighting and chasing other political followers. It is a political time which everybody must exercise its civic duty. The state is at the center for controlling such bad characters. And I believe, like I said, the Minister of Justice can do just that and bring all the culprits or the victims to justice. Justice is a rule, and Cameroon is a state of law. Let the state of law not just be in propaganda. When it concerns opposition party and the Molinex system, it should equally see when it concerns the victimization of electorate by the ruling party. The CPDM party is simply practicing and telling Cameroonians that they wish to keep power again. But we need to say, hey, while the sun shines, that 2025 is not 2018, it's not 2007, it's not 2011. Time has gone, and Cameroonians are conscious that change is coming. We must take on that change. Government measures must be taken.
Doctor, you're one of the team members behind Barrister Keremuna, the Univer party candidate, who recently endorsed Beluba Maigari. Can you help us understand why Barrister Keremuna chose to align with Beluba Maigari out of the 11 other candidates?
Batonia Keremuna remains one of the champions which I have admired, and we have, at several times, continuously with him, acted in the name of the coalition. From the first day I joined and endorsed him as a candidate for this presidential election, I have said my wish is for a coalition, because a single individual can win. In Africa, there is an African proverb that said a single broomstick can sweep, and that it is easy to break a single broomstick than when many broomsticks are joined together. And so together we stand divided we fall is the modus operandi of the Akere 2025 team, which they went into negotiation with Bello Buba. And many others of such agreements and the standards of their electoral manifesto were negotiated with Bello Buba Maigari. One of these is the release of all Anglophone prisoners in the context of resolving the Anglophone crisis. And secondly, that of the fight against corruption, which is center of the Muna campaign. Not also forgetting that the form of the state has been in contest and that revising the constitution and recognizing the storm or the strongest of it, which is federation. Bello Buba Maigari accepted on all these counts, and thus it comforts us who are of the Muna team and thinking he is better to lead. Not forgetting that the other parties, some of them portray acts of arrogance and others not being leadership enough, where words cannot be maintained, when promises cannot be fulfilled. A leader should be him that has within him the statesmanhood of maintaining his words and moving his words with action. I will form a coalition only if I am a leader. It indicates already that we are going into this negotiation in a point of witness. All are equal and that every vote counts. Every member or every presidential candidate has something to offer and must give it the opportunity to express their mind in favor of another. So the Bello Buba team remains.
As you earlier mentioned, Barrister Kerem Muna is one of those who has been clamoring for the opposition to unite for a while now. And given the current dynamics, do you see the possibility of opposition coming together as one? And are there any chances that an opposition candidate can win the elections if the state divided?
Yeah, there is hope in the horizon. There is hope in the horizon surrounding the coming together of opposition parties. And I think that we still have time. And Bello Buba Maigari together with Ateki and Kerem Muna are still negotiating for more other political parties to join their platform. And honestly, this is a coalition of the willing, those who don't live only by propaganda, but action. Seeing the three candidates already coming together indicated that there is more to come. There are equally this other group of persons who think that they can form a coalition and that they alone can win election. What a euphoria. The same candidates have been participating in several elections, and when we look at their results, it is really wanting and doubtful. There is a need for general forces, but then arrogance, lack of humility, might just discredit each of these candidates. If we are sincere to create the impact we intend, there is a need for all opposition parties to join. Out of the 11 now, we have a platform of 3. Can we swell this number with other opposition candidates? The days ahead are pregnant, and Cameroon might be witnessing a change of a new life, a change that we have desired. And this change involves all Cameroonians. We need to gather our ego and join forces under a single candidate, as we have just presented within Bello Buba Maigari. It is going to have not just a single individual. The liberation of Cameroon is a liberation for all, and that general interest surpasses individual interest. Collectively, we can make it, but individually, we might be defeated. So come October 11, the platforms are open, the dynamics are clear, and it is still an opportunity for us to do it until then.
Doctor, October 12th is not far. What message would you like to convey to Cameroonians at this point in time?
Now, my advice to all Cameroonians is that a host of them who have not yet made up their choice or made up their decision should go for the coalition of the willing. That has to do with Ateki, Bello Buba, and Akere. So we have within it the willing groups of persons that were not waiting on the last day to come together, and that we can all have it now in Cameroon come October 12th. This is a time for us to reflect that the bad roads, that the hospitals, that the schools, and again, the energy and water, 70 years after independence, we're unable to put or lay hands on a good source of water, poor infrastructure, and especially good enough, this is the rainy season, and many others are seeing the realities of this regime. Cameroon will be a better place come October if all of us talk or move our words with action in the same direction. Bello Buba Maigari is our candidate, and we wish all the best in their decision.
Dr. Ako John Ako, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was an opportunity again to be on Equinoxe television, and we shall continue as the electoral process rolls on. Thank you very much for being here.
That's what put a cap to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for always choosing Equinoxe Television. Have a wonderful evening in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now.